What's up? I'm James Baney from the Resistance Broadcast and Star Wars Newsnet, and this is the Clone Wars Fan Show. Today we're going to be talking about Season 7, Episode 1, The Bad Batch. Alright, so the way we're going to do this, I'm going to kind of condense the whole thing that was the Mando fan show down to a little, sandwiched version where we kind of go through all the same steps, maybe not get into the nitty-gritty details or bigger discussions. Obviously, it's just me. So I think how we're going to approach this is just me kind of giving my rating, review, a little bit of predictions, stuff like that. So right off the top, let's just rate the episode. So it's the first episode back, right? I don't like going too big or too little on that first one, getting real serious, nitty-gritty details. So I think usually where I start off, any first thing is just a sweet 7.5, right there, right in the middle. 5 is where I start to not like a show. I put that in the negative territory, and 10 is obviously perfect territory. So I think a 7.5 is that hey, it's really good. I like it. It's not great. It's not leaning towards bad. It's right there in the middle, 7.5 for me. All right, but here's the other thing. We got to talk about the show in general, right? So here's the thing about the Clone Wars. We all know it was a thing. They were planning for there to be a 7th season. They were working on it, and then it all got canceled. So they had these scripts ready to go, and they did the right thing by over time saying, hey, we don't think this thing is ever going to happen again. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to show you these unfinished templates of shows and scripts, and we're gonna stand on stage. There's a famous video of Dave Filoni explaining basically exactly where they were gonna go, and it was all about the Siege of Mandalore and all that other stuff. For the sake of this show, I have seen that stuff before, but I kind of set it aside simply so that I could watch the show for what they intend to do for someone who doesn't know all that information. They were going to tell a story, and they assumed that you didn't know all that stuff because you didn't at the time, and that's what they're getting to finish. So I know where they're going, and obviously we all know where they're going, right? Because they're leading to Revenge of the Sith. But I think for the sake of the Clone Wars fan show, I'm just going to kind of enjoy the episodes for what they are and just kind of review them and speculate on what is going to happen, even though I kind of have a faint idea of where they might go, but the details might be in those episodes, and I'm not willing to look at them. So I'm going to check them out after all of this is done. Like I said before, I liked this episode. I thought it was pretty decent. I'm interested in the Bad Batch, and I think that that's a good idea to say, hey, we're getting, I don't want to say bored, but we're getting bored doing the same thing with the same clones. How much more personality and differences can we add to these characters when they're all the same character, essentially? So I like the idea of where they were going, where, hey, let's create a group of people that are genetically different, but hey, oops, it was a mistake. This guy's twice as big as he should be. Oops, this is a mistake. This guy has heightened sensitivity, and he can track things like crazy. Okay, I like where they're going. In fact, it never goes that direction totally, but that would have been really cool for Star Wars if, they were just going episode 1, 2, and 3. They could have told that story, and that would have been really cool. Clones, they're manufacturing clones to be even crazier for specific groups, a whole army of super snipers or something. That would have been wild. But it definitely has a Ninja Turtles feel to it. And I think the biggest reason I say that is because there's one nerdy tech guy. And man, they treat that guy like crap. He's 25% of the team, very useful, very important. And the first thing when he walks up is he can fill your head with useless information. It's what? Useless information? Your lives depend on that guy. But anyway, they treat him like crap, but that's fine. I think the cool thing about this show is that they are, the longer the show went on, they kept with a straight path, and this show kind of is continuing a specific story of, we lost Echo in this fight We never saw the body, kind of a thing. I don't even really remember if that was supposed to be something where it's like a setup for something else, or we were really just that they just were like, yeah, that character's dead. I don't really remember. But now that we're going into this episode and they're saying, oh, he might be still alive, like something like that, you go back, you check out the other episode, and you think, well, they didn't show the body. Well, they did kind of see him die or get exploded and then just leave. So now there's this potential that he's working for the opposite side. I think just right on the surface, you got to think he's mad they left him, or they've got him hooked up to some sort of system and they're like pulling information from his brain, and he's obviously like a slave to that. Like they're going to like free him later. So we will see which way it goes. I'm interested, though. I'm pulled in. It's a great start to the series. I can't wait to see how all this is going. I'm excited. I hope you're excited, too. Keep in mind that when I say I'm excited, it means that I'm going to be doing this every single new episode of The Clone Wars. So if you are watching The Clone Wars Season 7 on Disney+, then you need to make sure that you check out every Friday this video to see my reaction, breakdown, review, prediction, whatever you want to call it. I'm here for you. Let's have a conversation on YouTube. I'm excited. Let's do it. As for everything besides the Clone Wars specifically, if you love Star Wars, you got to head over to StarWarsNewsNet.com where you can find all the latest and greatest information going on there. And you can check out me and my podcast mates on the Resistance broadcast every Monday and Thursday. Until then, I'll see you next episode.